Let's Talk Money with Friends. Today is an exciting day because, as you all know, we've been talking about it and it's online. The topic of today's show is education matters and what are your options? Of course, graduation season is here. And I've already been seeing like graduation pictures either from high school or college. Kids are excited. They cannot wait to leave high school. I remember when it was my time to leave high school, I couldn't wait. Little did I know. I'm sure you all would say the same thing. Little did we know what was waiting for us. But you know what? It's always a time of excitement. And also definitely for those who are graduating from college, who are gonna be moving on to their first job, they're even more excited because now they're gonna be making money and they're gonna be even more independent. So tonight, we wanted to have this conversation because I was talking to a friend of mine whose daughter is graduating from high school and she's going to be going to college next year. And I was like, what topic do you think I should discuss tonight? And she's like, Gabrielle, so many young people are graduating from high school, not knowing what they need to know. Definitely this conversation will bring a lot of comfort to them. And that's why we're here on Let's Talk Money with Friends. Every Wednesday, we get to come to your home, to your cars, oh gosh, anywhere you want. We come to you to share some really great and exciting information. And we never do it by ourselves because we always like to have great friends with us. And tonight I have a friend with me. And I believe there might be other friends coming on joining us, and it's okay. But I have a friend with me, Jackie. Jackie is definitely a friend who's all about education because from day one, when I met Jackie, we've been talking about education, not only our own education, but how we can pay it forward and help others get educated. So you'll hear more about that tonight. So without further ado, Jackie, why don't I give you an opportunity to introduce yourself, and then we'll dive into our conversation tonight.
Oh, thank you, Gabrielle. It's a pleasure to be with you again on this platform. This is not my first time, and I'm pretty sure I'll be back a few more times again. My name is Jackie Poto. I'm currently living in Boston, but I've been going back and forth between Boston and Haiti for the past probably 5 years. I am an operations manager for Haiti Development Institute. It's an organization that provides capacity building or capacity reinforcement skills for nonprofit in Haiti, in rural Haiti. And my office is in Alcae in the West Department. And my other gig when it comes to Haiti is that I'm the founder and interim executive director of Innovative Learning Concepts. That's a nonprofit organization based in Mirebalais in the Central Plateau. And we provide, English training, we provide computer training, as well as entrepreneurship skills. And I'm sure we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship at some point, finance and everything. So this is me. I met Gabrielle many moons ago, and we're still at it, trying to provide some advice to the community, how we can really be better citizens, how we can take care of ourselves, our family through education, and that's exactly what we're going to be talking about tonight. Education matters. It does matter. And that's what Gabrielle and I are here to talk about. You're probably on mute, Gabrielle.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, yes.
Okay, I'm so sorry about that. So education matters, and education is so important to you and to me. Why? Because for me, I was talking to someone earlier today who was thinking about joining, but unfortunately, because of a community meeting, there's so much going on in my community right now with education, so she couldn't make it. But it's important because we've invested so much time to pursue education. And I was saying to her, I'm a person of faith, but after my faith, education is the next thing in line for me because I know it has empowered me and has given me opportunities that nothing else would have been able to do that. So without further ado, I would like to say, Jackie, I know, most young people are graduating right now and they're thinking, oh, graduation is over. You remember how you felt when you were graduating from high school and you were entering, going to your next phase, in college or other things? You remember how you felt?
Well, excited, a bit curious about the future. I didn't do my high school in this country. I was in
Yeah.
Haiti, but it's the same experience. You're living one world to go to the next. We're not exactly sure what the studies that you're gonna be embarking on, what they entail, and it's always this sentiment of excitement. At the same time, you just curious, not so much scared in my case, but I was just curious as to what the future will be. I'll be reading, bigger books and books that are probably more complicated. And I started thinking about the future, about building a family and what
Mhm.
that would be like. I think that was what I felt at the time when I was graduating high school. And about you?
Yeah, actually, when I was graduating from high school, I was excited too. Just as I said earlier, we all think, oh my gosh, it's awesome. We're leaving behind 4 years that you feel like, oh, it was dreadful. But the truth of the matter is that those 4 years were the best 4 years of our lives. We had fewer responsibilities and we had more time to do so many things that we wanted.
Yeah.
But I was also very excited because, like you, Jackie, I love to learn. And I was excited to go and learn something new and learn from different people. And I knew that I was going to be exposed, get the exposure that I needed from different cultures and different people, because I was planning on going to a university that had multiple different cultures. So, and I was looking forward to that. When you typically, the graduation age is 17, 18, and now at 18, you are freer. You're free to do so much more. No longer.
So you think
Yeah, so you think you're free to do so much more. Being able to stay up late, maybe, or like, because I remember when I was in high school, we were not allowed to do certain things. I would have to get home by 8 o'clock was the almost like the curfew. But when I went to college, hey, we were able to stay out a lot later because I wasn't around my parents that much, so
Yeah.
I was able to do some. So I'm sure many of the young people who are graduating right now, they're excited because they have that freedom and they're looking forward to making new friends. But do you feel like you are ready? I mean, like, you are excited, but do you feel like you are ready, and why not?
I don't think I was ready. As I said, I was just curious what the future would hold for me. And I was growing up in Haiti, and things were not quite clear. I mean, in this country, many young people have access to opportunities that I didn't have, and it's
Correct.
sad sometimes they don't recognize that. I don't want to say lucky, but where you were born can make a big difference in how what you become in life, basically. But so I just wanted to reiterate that for young people who were born in this country, you have a lot of opportunities in front of you, and you should take advantage of them every single day. So when I was graduating, I didn't know what was. First of all, I wanted to. I think I had so many options in front of me. At one point, I was considering becoming a priest, Catholic priest.
Really?
I almost I almost became a Catholic priest. And then I wanted to be, I started studying computers in Haiti. Then when I come here, I changed, my interest changed, and I got into something else. I ended up studying social work, but I came back to computers. So no, I was not ready. I don't know how it was for you, Gabriel,
No.
but for me, it wasn't
uh
that clear. Okay.
I've always been assertive, so I felt like I was going to be able to handle. But at the same time, too, I don't think I felt ready because, I was still learning the language because I
Mhm.
had only been here 4 years. I went to my 4 year, the high school years here, and excited but not ready but I've always been the type of person, like, even if I'm confused, even if I'm not sure, I'm
Okay.
stumbling forward. I'm moving forward because the fear of not being able to maximize my potential was greater for me than the fear
Mhm.
of not doing anything. So I was like, I gotta keep moving forward. I gotta keep stumbling forward, and I gotta keep staying confused, even if it means like, uh, venturing into something that I'm not familiar with. But you have to keep doing, because at the end of the day, there are many young people right now who are graduating from high school, and they don't have, they don't have clarity, because they don't know exactly what they want to do. I'm happy that you said that, initially you thought you were going to do that. For me, because I had taken a class in sociology in high school, and I thought, well, at first, my favorite topic was Latin. So my subject was Latin. So I thought, oh, I was going to study linguistics. And I was like, oh, that's too big, it's too general. Let me pursue actually, I was going to do sociology. So my initial application for college was for sociology. And then I started hearing people saying, sociology, history, psychology, not good idea. You need to pursue a business degree, because when you're done, you need to have a job. And of course, I listened to those people. But even then, I was taking business classes, but all my electives, I like in sociology, political science. So we'll go over that. So yeah, you never feel that you're ready. And I want young people who are watching right now, those parents who are saying like, well, how come you don't know what you want? How come you don't feel like you're ready? Listen, they're not ready, but still they have to keep moving forward.
But there's another aspect I think we should touch on is the number of options young people have today. It used to be that you would be an engineer or an agronomist, especially in the case of Haiti. It's like, it's engineer, you're either a medical doctor, an engineer, an agronomist,
or an attorney, a lawyer,
an attorney,
an accountant.
Those, But right now, I mean, if you take computers or information technology, if you take only one aspect of information technology, you could get into 10 different options. So I think that can be confusing at times. So people really need, and I think parents have a role to play. Don't wait until senior year in high school to start, guiding your child, or at least expose them to the different options that are out there, because there are so many of them.
Yeah, well, that's a good idea. But at the same time, too, my other question was, why does education matter? And also, how did you decide on your career? Because you talked about parents. Not everybody has parents who can do that for them.
Exactly.
If you have a parent who's not educated themselves because they have not been able to ascertain the type of education that we've been able to, acquire and stuff, it's not going to be easy for them to guide their kids. That's why my questions are, did anybody help you? Because I know for me, my teachers and also a neighbor, when I lived in Medford as a youngster, a neighbor kind of guided all of us towards education. So who helped you?
For me, well, in the case of Haiti, for most of us, it's really where you could actually find a spot. Where do you have a connection? And there were just a few options that I said. You have like 1,000 people apply to medical school, and they're gonna take only 200 of them. So if you have what we call like a sponsor or parent in Creole, do you have connection with this? Yeah, someone to godfather, to grandfather.
Yes.
Yeah, because you needed that. So I did even attend college before I left Haiti. So because there wasn't any place for me, so I had to wait until I come to this country to start university. I ended up going to BU for social work, but that was really guided by a friend of mine, someone who was really observing me, what I was doing in the community in the Boston area. And at the time, they were looking for social workers at Boston University. They figured that they should give an opportunity to more young Haitians in the Boston area to get into social work school, so they could have more Haitian social workers. So that's how I advised by my good friend Wishe Zamo. We still collaborate.
Yeah, I know him.
And
Yeah.
yeah, Wishe suggested that I apply to the school, and he was actually I think he was sort of coordinating the program at the time, and that's how I started with Boston University and ended up with a master in social work. But then after that, I spent a few years working, and when I turned 50, I decided to go back for my second master because
Wow.
I wanted to prove to my children at my age.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't want to, I didn't want to accept any excuse from anyone,
Yeah,
telling me that you would not go to school. Because at 50, I decided to go back and get a second
yeah,
master in medical informatics. So that's how it was for me, but it's not the same path for everyone. Yeah.
yeah. I'm glad you mentioned the fact that back home in Haiti, you didn't have all the options that we had here. Because at the high school was like, where are you going to school? What are you gonna do? It was like, what are your options? Like, what do you
Mm-hmm.
want to do with all your options that you had? Versus, oh well, maybe you might get in.
Yeah.
If you did the work and if you had the grades, most likely you were gonna get into a program somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
because I do believe, like, the reason we're talking about education today, because I've always believed, and I've heard it said so many times, that education is liberation and education is life
Yeah.
itself. Education will position us for a brighter future, right? When you are able to not only you become an asset and not a liability to your society. That's why it's so important for young people who are watching or gonna be watching to really pursue education. But
Mm-hmm.
we talk about college because we both went to college, but at the end of the day, education is more than just that, right? So there are some young people who are graduating from high school saying, like, I know what I want to do already. Like I was saying to you offline, that my mother initially, because I love to do hair, I love to braid and I love to do hair. She was like, why don't you get your license?
Become a hairdresser.
Hairdresser, you're licensed. She said you could start your business and do. And I mean, that was one of the options that I had when I was in high school, like to really do that. But I decided, I still wanted to pursue a college degree. So what do you, I know with the organization that you're part of, you saying to young people, of course, you may not be able to go to college because of the limitation, but you
Mm-hmm.
can continue to learn. Never stop learning. And I know you're doing English classes, you're doing trade schools, you're doing so. Can you talk a little bit about that and why it's important after high school that you don't stop, you continue to learn?
Yeah, I think it's important for young people today to realize that they don't have to have a master's in this or a PhD in that. Of course, it's nice, and certainly if you have a master or a PhD, you can earn more money. But your first degree doesn't have to be, that you become a medical doctor or a civil engineer. I mean, there are so many options now, and
Correct.
because I spend a lot of time on online, I am discovering every day the different types of options that young people have. Take cybersecurity, for example, and I know a good friend of mine is watching right now because I sent him the link. He and I and probably 7 other young Haitian professionals. Did I just say young? Well, I guess I'm.
You're still young, Jackie, young at heart,
Thank you.
forever young.
Yeah, so
You had that spirit, and
a
you shall
group of
always be
us, a
young.
group of Haitian professionals, myself, and a lot of other people. Some of us are from Canada. A couple of us are living in Haiti now, and so we're putting together this cybersecurity program for young Haitians living in Haiti. That doesn't mean people living in this country cannot participate because it's going to be like a global program. We want to prepare young men and women in Haiti for the global marketplace, meaning that they need to be able to interact with people in English, in French, in Spanish, and even other prominent languages. So you take cybersecurity, for example, of that group I just mentioned. I'm probably the least educated on cybersecurity. All the other guys are experts in this, but you can choose to become anything you want right now. And cybersecurity is just one of them. You could be a DevOps operator, DevOps manager, anything you want at this point, and not just for computer. And if you take other fields like artificial intelligence or uh, you name it. So there are so many options today that you don't have to go to college the first year or the first 2 years after you leave high school. There are other options. And guess what? You can learn so much online. Just YouTube alone. YouTube is one of the big, if the largest, one of the largest universities in the world.
And it's for free. It's for free. Yeah. And I think what we want to reiterate is the fact that if you're a young person, you're graduating from high school, you shouldn't be sitting at home watching TV and not doing something or getting yourself into a dead-end job. Because if you don't have specialized skills, you are going to be in a dead-end job. And specialized skills in here and in Haiti are very different. In Haiti, for example, specialized skill is learning English, learning Spanish, doing something with your time. You cannot be running the streets and say, oh, there's nothing for me to do. There's really nothing for me to do right now. Let me just hang around. No, find out, go to Jackie's program and learn English. But if you are here, listen, if you have a home, you know how much it costs to have an electrician come to your house or a plumber or someone who's like a landscaper.
These guys make big money.
Anybody. It costs so much money for homeowners to really hire those people, because any given day, you might have situation where like to wire an apartment, it's $15,000. Imagine you being a young person who decided, you know what, college is not for me, but I want to go to a trade school and get my license. Guess what? You'll make a great living and you can have a great family life because you invested in your time.
Exactly.
So again, today,
I think a colleague of mine, Judge, he's Gael Bourbeuf. Guy is actually the brain behind Cyber Dojo Academy. That's the cybersecurity program I was talking about.
Okay, wait a second.
Gael.
Are you related to the beautiful Barbara Bourbeuf?
Yes.
Oh my God. So you are good people.
Barbara Bourbeuf, huh?
Barbara, that's your wife, right?
Yes.
She just called me.
Small world.
No, Barbara is a friend of mine, but I saw your picture online the other day.
Listen to this.
And I was like, oh, Barbara is awesome. You got yourself a good one here.
Awesome.
Nice.
Glad to have you here, Gael.
Thank you for joining us.
She told me she was supposed to be healed and to replace her. So I was not sure about what I was getting. The funny thing is that 5 minutes ago, I was watching this live, and then I was walking by, and then she called me telling me she has an issue with her phone, and then if I could replace her, and then the live I was watching 2 minutes ago, this is the live.
This is the live. Well, glad to have you here. Maybe you'll talk more about Cyber Dojo Academy.
Yeah, so glad to have you here. Barbara really wanted to be here, and then she kept texting me saying like problems with my internet today. But yeah, so why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how long have you known Jackie?
On what?
Tell us a little bit about yourself, the work that you do, and how long you've known Jackie.
Well, I've known Jackie for about a year now, last year.
Yeah.
So he actually reached out to me because he saw my channel. I have a YouTube channel about technology. I teach in Creole people about different topic about information technology, what they should know, what they should not do, how technology can empower them to build a better future for themselves, and how they can take advantage of this new era to build wealth for themselves. And then Jackie reached out to me and he wanted to get in touch with me. So I am an IT engineer for I have about 10 years of experience. I moved to the US in 2018, and now today I work in the IT field.
Ah, awesome, awesome. I know.
He's
We were.
he's a guru. Okay, this guy knows so much about
I know. One of the questions, the next question that I had was, I know Jackie and I, we've always tried to pay it forward because I do believe that to whom much is given, much is required. So right now with Jackie, with the relationship that you have with Jackie, is that how? Because I know Jackie, you recruited me, and for several months, if almost a year, right? I was on the line on Zoom with young people in Haiti practicing and talking to them about different topics, but
Sure.
really practicing speaking the language. So how have you been able to pay it forward since you've been here in the United States, paying it forward maybe with, well, you saying like you're educating people online. So tell me, how have you been able to pay it forward? Let me let you speak.
So I've always felt so fortunate to be able to have the chance to go to school, then go to the university, because this is not a given for most of Haitian in Haiti. You know how the situation is. So I always felt privileged that my parents were able to pay a private school and a private university. I went to one of the best computer science university in Haiti. And so once I graduated, I I started giving conferences at places like Banj. I started giving conferences at the youth association of my church, and basically speaking about everything I knew about information technology. And
Wow.
at the time, I kept speaking about something called cloud computing and information
Mm.
system audit. These two concepts, while it was a buzz in the US, nobody was talking about it in Haiti. And then that's how I started doing free conferences in Haiti. Then when I moved here in 2018, I said, how can I continue this mission that I gave to myself to share my knowledge for free? So I decided, well, let me create a YouTube channel, and then more people will be able to see. So I created a YouTube channel. I call it Cause Tech, which means Cause Technology in Creole. And then I started talking about how to select a good laptop, what to do and not to do on the internet, how to protect yourself. And then years later, now with Jackie and several other professionals, we are basically creating a whole school focusing only on cybersecurity that will mostly teach Haitian about cybersecurity, because this is a huge field there, and there is a plenty of opportunity in this field.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
lot of cyber attacks all over the world. So this is timing. This is very fitting for the moment. And I think with the limited options that young people in Haiti have, a program like this will really help. And the other thing, quickly, Gabriel, we're trying to partner with groups outside of Haiti. After they complete the program, we want to be able to place them. Or at
Yes.
least help, place them, make sure that they get to use the new knowledge that they've acquired. So this is going to be
I'm
wonderful.
excited. I'm excited, and I want to be part of this. I don't know computers as much as you, but I do mindset training, and I also love to empower young people to think positively about their future, and also thinking about the larger community, the community at large. Because again, I love the fact that you said, I was blessed enough to have had parents who were able to give me an education, pay for my education, pay for my private school. But after I acquired all that, I didn't want to hold on to it by myself and only take care of my little family. No, I wanted to go out and give and pay it forward. That's what I've done. Many times people see me on social media or, at the church. He said, church for 3-4 years, I was at my church teaching finance. Jackie and I, we started giving back with an organization, FATEM, years ago, where we were educating and paying for education for kids in Haiti. But unfortunately, things didn't work out with that. But at the end of the day, right now with the work Jackie's doing, I'm always like, what can I do to help? How can I support financially, but also to how can I support with my time and the education that I have? Because it's so important. We know education is not cheap. So what are some of the challenges? I know, Jackie, you went to school here. What are some of the challenges you think students have when it comes to making a decision to either go to trade school or
You
in
mean
terms
you
of
mean you mean here or
economic
you mean
challenges?
here or in Haiti?
Everywhere, everywhere. The
Well, I
world
mean,
is global.
if I were to start with Haiti, challenges. First of all, I know a lot of parents in Haiti who pay, 35, 40% of their whatever income they end up making for a year to put their kids to school. So it's very expensive. But Haitians love education. They'll do
Mhm.
everything. They'll sacrifice themselves to send their kids to school. So that's one of the challenges that young people face in Haiti, which people in this country are probably it's not that it's easy here, but you have student loans in this country, which we don't have. And we're gonna talk more about that, Gabriel, later on, because people
Yeah,
should not
it's definitely what
people should not borrow more than they need.
I know.
But
Yeah, like we know some of the challenges that many folks have had to make the decision to take on that educational mortgage. I
mhm.
mean, you said you went to school in Haiti and your parents paid for it. Have you pursued additional education, or have you seen friends and other people really being weighted down because of that educational mortgage, that loan, that really hefty student loan?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people decide to just don't pursue anything because it's so expensive. I mean,
Correct.
I know a friend of mine who went to law school, graduated with $700,000 debt,
Wow.
Oh.
and he has to pay $700 a month toward it, which
Wow.
it's really difficult to have that kind of debt and be able to be successful because you can't buy a house, you can't really raise a family. So it's really expensive, but it's an opportunity to let people know that there are options. You don't have to
Yeah.
go take that educational mortgage, as you call it. So there are ways. I mean, there are courses you can take online, and if you put all of them together, you'll end up with a good package that can be really enticing to some employers. Go
Yeah.
to go to the academy. Go to Cyber Dojo Academy.
I know. So let's
You'll
have
graduate.
Gael talk. Let's have
Exactly.
Gael talk a little bit about that. Gael, what are some of the ways that folks can alleviate some of the hardship of like the hardships that they could be dealing with education? Like free online training, cyber, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna say two things. First thing is about mentorship, and second thing is about taking advantage of free online education. One
Mhm.
of the most challenging issue that young student and young people can have right now, it's guideline. There is so many field and so many field that you can study, so people are lacking a lot of guidelines to know exactly what they want to do, or they might know what they want to do, but they don't know exactly what is the correct path to take in order to go there. So, for example, because I have a podcast, well, every week I teach about a subject. So I receive a lot of requests about, hi, Gael, how can I do this?
I,
How can I do that? So the young people, they really need to understand that mentorship is extremely important so that
mhm.
you can learn from my mistake, from Jackie's mistake, so you can reach the success a little bit faster and not to repeat the same mistake that I made. Because now that I've gone through it, I know the exact path to go exactly where you want to go. That's
Sure.
the first thing. So seek for a mentor, look at LinkedIn profile. Don't stay only on Instagram, Snapchat, or Facebook. These are good social network also. They have their purpose, but mostly I would recommend a lot of young people to spend their time on LinkedIn as well, because
Mhm.
LinkedIn, it's where
It's
most
more
of the
professional.
professional, yeah, are. So they can see someone with a career or a title they would like to have one day and send a connection request to them, asking if they can have some guidance from them so they can have a mentorship. So try to get a mentor to help you avoid some mistake.
Yeah.
Second thing, You don't need to have a 4-year bachelor degree anymore in 2022 to be successful. This is from the past. And the funny thing is, you don't need to be like a lawyer. You don't need to be a physician, a doctor. You don't need to be an agronomist to be successful. The way the Web 3 or the Web 2.0 is going right now, it's like there is um, hundred and thousand of opportunities that you can take advantage of with information technology in general. You can be a search engine optimization, you can be a digital media specialist who manages network, you can build website, you can be, I know people that are making 6-figure, like 150K per year, that never went to school. All they did, they went to a coding boot camp, and then they studied hard every night. They sharpened their skill, they sharpened their communication skill, and they were able to land a dream job at a FANG company like Facebook, Instagram, Netflix, Google, or Microsoft, and they are coding software with no degree, no bachelor degree, no master degree, and they are making 6-figure. So seek for a mentor that can guide you, and take advantage of the infinite knowledge and information that are out there on the internet that are for free. Start there before deciding to go to pay for whatever college degree. Start there and see how far you can go with that.
Yeah. I learned the hard way. 2 masters, and I still owe a lot of money. If anyone out there would like to help, call me after the show. But
definitely. But I mean, like we were talking about the pits. Thank you so much, Gaia. It's so important, the pitfalls that people can avoid. Like, when you're a young person, you go into college, you think, I need, like you said, I need to go to that 4-year. When you can perhaps go to a 2-year program, get all your requirements, and then transfer and be able to graduate with a lot less than $700,000 in debt. And also to, young people, they're coming out, they're 18, they think they're, adults now. What are some of we talked about it, Jackie, like the credit cards and buying, but the sad part is them getting the scholarships, or not scholarship, but the financial aid, and then dropping out of school without completing that program. And then really, that to me, that's the biggest waste you can do, is getting a $200,000-$300,000 loan to go to school and then not finishing school and not graduating, unless you are leaving to go find a 6-figure income job that's gonna take care of your business, or becoming a store or something. What are some of the advice that you have for people right now while listening to this? Teresa wants to join us.
Yeah, I mean, it's really enticing to go and borrow money, because it's there. The fact that you don't have to pay right away makes you think, well, I should borrow as much money as I can and go buy at Macy's or Farland's, if there's still a Farland's basement. But definitely you should avoid getting into those traps, because it's easy to just borrow money, and people should definitely think about what the future will come as far as responsibilities in the future. Don't just see today as it is, but think about what other responsibilities you have tomorrow, and make sure that you borrow just enough money if you need to borrow money to go to school.
And we talked about it.
Teresa.
Hi, Teresa. We're gonna come to you in a minute. I just want to, before I forget, like we've talked about credit, how important that credit is. Like you could have all the college degree, all the degrees that you want, or have everything, and then because certain jobs that you go into, they're pulling your credit, and then all of a sudden, because you have a situation, when you were a freshman, you got a credit card because of a free T-shirt, and you kept swiping, and now your credit is not up to par, and you're losing out on job opportunities. So we don't want that to happen to you. Think deep before you leave. So Teresa, welcome. I don't think I know Teresa, but welcome, Teresa. How you doing? Welcome to the show. I'm Gabrielle.
You've
Can you tell
you've
us a little
met
bit about
you've
yourself?
met you've met Teresa. You've met Teresa.
I met you, Teresa. Oh yes, at the lunch. The
Yes.
lunch you invited me to. Oh, that was a while back, Teresa.
It's
I
okay.
haven't seen you since then. Yes, how have you been?
I've been good. Sorry, I came in late. I was teaching. I just ended. So
Oh,
that's why
awesome.
I'm sorry I'm late.
It's okay,
That's fine.
Teresa. Today's topic is education matters and what are your options? And we've been talking about the different aspects and the different ways that you can acquire an education and how you can become an asset and not a liability to our society, and how you can continue to pay it forward when you've acquired enough for yourself. You can keep. So what would you like? Obviously, you're a teacher. Can you share a little bit about what you think?
An ILC teacher.
Mhm.
Gotta be precise about that.
Well, I think that two things I could say about the teaching in the English as an immigrant, ILC's approach is really important, is English. English is so important to be, my students are professionals, psychologists, doctors, all different professions. But if their English is not up to par, you wouldn't know that. And it's so important for them to develop the English, to really work on it. We do a lot of classes that are specific to topic of what they need to work on. And that really helps them. So that's why, all right, that's my plug. The one thing I was going to say, I came in at the very end of when you were talking about getting into debt to go to college. And I would say my attitude towards that has changed dramatically since I'm quite a bit older than all of you. And when I went to college, you know what? You're going to die when I tell you this. I went to the University of Illinois. One semester cost $325. Now to
That's not a credit.
that was
Whole semester?
I think it was a credit. I think it was a credit, and it was very cheap. Now, University of Illinois costs about $24,000. It's a state school. It costs about $24,000 a semester. So it's insane. So one thing that we have been talking a lot about, my husband and I, because we have a lot of children between us, is that there is really nothing wrong. I think maybe we got on this path where 4-year degree, you get out of high school and you get your 4-year degree. I think there's a lot of other paths that will still get you the 4-year degree. And that might be community college, where you don't go right to the most expensive 4-year degrees. You go to your community college. The other thing is, I have actually all my children are over 18. At 18 years old, you don't really know what you want to do. And I have a daughter and 2 nieces and a nephew who all got a college degree and discovered within 2 or 3 years that was not what they really should have. And they had to go back and do it. They all ended up in sciences, mostly medical. And they had to go back and take courses to get them to the degree they needed. So taking a year off, working, going to community college when you're 18 years old makes a lot of sense to spend your money wisely and enjoy your freedom and make a little money, or at least figure out what you might want to do. Okay, that's my 2 cents.
No, it makes sense. It does make sense, because at the end of the day, that some of the students, that some of the young people we're talking to who are going to be watching this, perhaps their parents are able to write a check and say, go to your favorite school and have fun. And that's a good time too. Go have fun, be a youngster for another 4 years. But there are those of us who are immigrants, and also those whose parents are already struggling. They don't have that type of financing. They don't have that type of money. So it's very important that you're very calculated and really think about it and ask for the mentorship and ask for guidance so that you can make a calculated decision about your life. Because again, once you get out, we don't want you to get out with so much debt that you cannot pursue life, because so many people are not able to get married and pursue life because they are weighted down by the educational mortgage. I call it educational mortgage. So we don't want that. So before we leave, because I know this was a special show, thank you so much for all of you for coming. I just wanted to say that in addition to getting an education, you've already mentioned it, Gael, mentorship is so important. Why is it important to stay connected with your high school teachers, college teachers, and also build relationships that can help you go to the next level? You mentioned that, Gael, but I just want to reiterate that tonight, because so many of us, especially those of us who were not taught how to network, we think that let me go get my degree and then I'll be successful. The other day, a friend of mine was going for a big job at another city here, and she's like, Gabrielle, I know we knew each other from grad school. Can I put your name down as a reference? And I was able to write. But if she had not stayed in contact with me and called me periodically for lunch, guess what? I wouldn't have known to call her. So it's so important that you stay, alumni association. Why is it important? Let's remind them after college, after the trade school relationship. It's not what you know, my friend. It's who you know. Go ahead.
Yes. And speaking of that, that's the main reason why I decided 1 year ago to ditch all social media and focus all my time and attention to LinkedIn. That's where I'm trying to create a huge network of professionals and create my personal brand. Yes, you can create your personal brand on Instagram, Snapchat, but the thing is you need to be smart about it, because every single social network has their own purpose, their own clientele, and their own type of customers that go in it. On LinkedIn, this is mostly professional, educator, project manager, and teachers, etc., that come here to look for opportunities. So it is extremely important that you create this personal brand social network like LinkedIn and go to Meetup where you can meet with people in the same field that you are. Look for a club in your area where you can speak about subject that you are passionate about. And that way, you might be looking for an opportunity and then you meet someone at the club where you were speaking about the subject, and then someone might be interested in hiring you or doing business with you. So networking can help you discover this, what they call this hidden market sometimes, because before they post a job, they are writing it. So before the job go out, they might be hiring you way before the position goes on the job board.
So true.
Not that right. What about you, Jackie or Teresa? How important networking and
networking actually is done differently these days. It used to be that you have to meet with people physically, but with social media now, it's so easy to stay in touch. So there's no excuses about not staying in touch. And as you said, it's not just what you know, it's who you know. A lot of relationships, connections are really, really important when it comes to finding a job or deciding on a career or even starting a business. Sometimes you have to talk to a lot of people before you launch that business idea that you have. So it's really important to stay in touch. And as I said, with social media, it's definitely become easier to do that.
Yeah, and it's so important to think of it as just not you taking from, but also you giving, because it has to be a win-win situation. Would you agree, Teresa, when you are networking?
I was going to say, kind of combining what Gael and what you said, is ditch the Facebook and the time you spend on that, but not just do LinkedIn, but like you were saying, do that touch. Go, write the email, write the particular message, WhatsApp, however you communicate with those people that you need to stay in touch with. So make it even more personal. Pick, maybe choose who I really need to talk to this person. even if you need to keep a list of twice a year, I'm going to reach out to my college physics professor because he's full of good information for me. And I also need to keep that contact live. So kind of combining your time between those important connections.
Definitely so important, because guess what? It's been many moons since I graduated from high school, but I'm still I still have friendship from high school that I've kept, especially teachers. I call them periodically, like you said, I haven't been able to stay in touch every single month, but I am able to pick up the phone and say hello, because many times when I was going to grad school, guess what? She was the one who wrote my recommendation letter. I stayed in touch, and those graduate student classmates, you need friendship. So please, I've heard so many people say, I send my kids to school to get an education. They don't need, listen, you send them to go to school for more than an education. They need to create a network, because at the end of the day, we saw the judge in the making, Justice. Her friend came in, Ketanji Jackson. Her friend came in and gave a beautiful testimony about who she was who she is as a person, and who she's always been. So it's so important to have those type of relationships and friendship. And I'm grateful for Jackie, because had it not been for Jackie, you two wouldn't be here tonight. So that's the type of relationship. I met Jackie many moments ago. We're not gonna say how long, but the person who introduced us is a family member. He's married. His cousin is married to my sister, and he's like, Jackie is someone who's all about community. He's all about education. You and him have a lot in common. You can do work with him. So definitely from day one, we're like, how can we help Haiti? How can we help community? And how can we do more? So I'm so grateful for him and for all of you who are here tonight. Listen, education matters. Education is so important. You don't have to have, we've said it, a 4-year education to pursue education. Education should be continuous. You should always be learning. Read, go to seminars, free seminars. Gael, please, when we're done here, post your website, your face, you say YouTube, right? So that others who are interested could go ahead and get connected with you. You need to get an education. If you are in Haiti, please go learn English, learn Spanish, learn a language, because that will empower you when you come here to even be better than you are in Haiti, because you already know the language. So important. I will encourage you to pursue education, because for me, I tell you, education has been my saving grace. After my faith, my education has been the anchor that I've been relying on. So I want to thank you all again. Please like, share, and make a comment. Let your friends know that there is a very educational program that's on every Wednesday. I'm here because I'm paying it forward. I didn't have to come on, but I'm on. And just like I did it at church, I've done it in my community. I'm here every Wednesday because I want to pay it forward, because I do believe that to whom much is given, much is required. So please pay it forward. You've seen this tonight. Let your friends know. We are on YouTube and we are on Facebook. And hopefully next time we're going to be on LinkedIn, because that's where it's at. That's where it's at. Thank you so much again.
All right.
Please don't hang up, but I'm going to go off. Don't hang up, but I'm going to go off this and say goodbye to all the people who are watching.